Another vertical measurement to the back, which I called the length of waist, is from the base of the neckline to the deepest part of the back waist. Welcome to the Honest Academy. My name is Justice. In this class, we're going to be looking at how to take accurate body measurements, especially the upper parts, because I understand that for you to follow the tutorials properly and make fitted dresses or dresses that come out so perfectly, it begins with you taking your measurements correctly. Okay, so we're going to be looking at how to take different measurement for different parts of the body, especially the upper parts of the body from the hip upwards. Okay, so stay tuned and watch till the end. And please, if you've not subscribed to this channel, consider subscribing. Turn on the notification button so that you will be notified whenever we upload a new video. Okay, so let's go right in. Now, in taking the body measurement, we have the vertical measurement and the horizontal measurement. The vertical measurement begins from the shoulder to the bust point to the under bust in case you're making something fitted, to the waistline and to the hip length or the length of the blouse you're working with. Now, the horizontal measurements are across the body, the bust circumference, the under bust circumference, the waistline circumference, and the hip circumference. And of course, we have the shoulder measurement and the length of back. That is the length of the back measurements. We're going to be doing that also. Now for the horizontals, or let's say we'll start from the vertical lines, because wherever the point stops at the vertical line, that is where the horizontal line is going to be. So from the shoulder line, from the fall of the neck this way, you're going to place your tape rule and measure to the widest point of your bust, and that is the bust point. Okay, from shoulder to the bust point, the widest part of the bust area. From there, we'll go over to the under bust, just directly under the bust, right? Directly under the bust, that's where you have your under bust. And then we have the waistline. We're measuring the smallest part of the waist, which is about 2 inches above your navel. In case you've not given birth, but if you've given birth, your navel tends to come a bit slower. Okay, so 2 inches above the navel, that's where you have the smallest part of your waistline, and that is where you're going to take the waistline measurements. Or in case that does not work, you can follow the deepest part of your waistline. At the back side, you have a part that dips in very well. So from there, you can measure to the front, and wherever the face comes to the front, that it becomes your waistline point. I hope that is clear. Now, from still the shoulder line, we're going to take to the length of the blouse or to your hip line, depending on what you're working with. So from here, from the shoulder line, I'm going to take down to the hip line. You can tie something around the widest part of your hip line so that you know where to stop. Okay, so this is for the vertical measurement. Another vertical measurement to the back, which I called the length of waist, is from the base of the neckline, from the bone around the neckline here to the deepest part of the back waist. Everyone has this, to the deepest part of the back, right? I don't want to turn my back because if I turn, the camera might not capture very well. It's going to become dark. Okay, so that is the length of the back waistline, which makes it, when we're drafting, the back half length and the front half length are not exactly the same. Okay, for my front half length, I have about 17 inches. Then for the back, I have about 15.75. But if I want to increase it, I can just make it 16. So we'll have 1 inch or 1.2 inches difference. Okay, so That's for the vertical measurements. And then we have the horizontal measurements. The horizontal measurement is across the bust line on the widest part of the bust where you stopped your vertical measurement. That is where you have to take your bust circumference. In case you're measuring yourself, you know what to do. In case you're measuring someone else, you also know what to do. There's no much difference in it, but make sure it is firm but not tight. There's a difference between being firm and being tight. Make sure it fits, but don't make it so loose and don't make it too tight. Okay? Now for the under bust, we want this to be firm also. We don't want to be so uncomfortable on it, right? So we have to take the under bust, want to make it firm, but don't make it so tight that you won't be able to breathe. Making it too tight can affect the chest. And then we have the waistline. We want this to be very fitted, depending on what you're making also. But for a fitted dress, we want it to be well fitted because around this part we do not have so much bone that will make it so uncomfortable for us, and that's why we're able to wear corsets without having so much injury. Okay, so around this part we want it to be very, very firm, right? Here I have about 30 inches. Then we're going to take our hip measurement, which I'm going to use this dress form to show us how to take the hip measurement. Around the widest part of the hip, that is where we're going to take our hip measurement. Okay, we don't want this to be too free and we don't want it to be very close to the body because we want something very fitting but a bit comfortable. Okay, so we're going to push it down this way and make sure it fits to locate the widest part of the hip area. Now wherever it is that is the widest part, that is where we are going to count our measurements. Okay, so I want to take it again like so. You start from the upper part, make it a bit firm, then push it downwards. As you're pushing, if it's tight, you release your hand a bit, release a bit until you get to the widest parts of the measurement. Okay, we've gotten to the widest part of the measurement. I have about 44 here. So these are the measurements that we have, right? And then we have another important measurement, the bust span. The bust span, which is from one nipple point to the next nipple point, we're going to take. Please, when taking this measurement, do not push whoever it is that you're taking if it's not on yourself. Okay? So we're going to place it this way or this way from one nipple point to the next nipple point. Whatever it gives us, I have 7.5, right? So that's for me. You need to take yours to know what yours is saying. Now, another important measurement is the back shoulder. The back shoulder, we want to take from one shoulder point to the next shoulder point, okay? From one shoulder point, don't not make it this way. It's not good this way. We want to raise our tape to the neckline this way and place it on the shoulders. I hope this is very clear. Then there is this important measurement also, which I like to take, especially when I'm working with some kind of off shoulders. I want to take the across front shoulder, okay, this way, from one armhole side to the next armhole, above the bust, this way, above the bust. This will help me to know where to curve my armhole from, okay, in case I tighten the upper part of my dress, especially when I'm working with off shoulders. Okay, so these are the very important measurements that you need when making a dress. In some cases, you just need the bust, waist, and hip, then the shoulder, and you're good to go. If you're making something so fitted at the under bust, you need the under bust circumference, okay? And the vertical measurement as well. And for a basic draft, you need the back waist length. You need the back waist length. Very, very important, so that your garment comes out very beautiful and good looking. So I believe that with this simple method of taking measurements, you've actually understood how to take your body measurements, and you will be able to follow along as we draft our basic bodies and make so much alterations on different designs that will be coming up very soon on this channel. So in our next video, we're going to be looking at how to draft a basic bodice, the upper parts from the waistline up, okay? The half scale basic bodies. So please do well to subscribe to this channel. Click on the notification button so that you will get notified whenever I upload a new video. Thank you for watching, and share to your friends and neighbors and your friends' friends so that they too can learn along with you. Thank you. See you in our next video. Bye.